Revan represents one of the most enigmatic figures in galactic history, a paradox of light and dark who walked the path of both Jedi and Sith. His relentless pursuit of galactic stability, often through controversial means, defined his legacy. But this quest for peace came at a catastrophic cost to his own soul. For the man who was both savior and conqueror, the fight was never truly complete. But what if the Force itself provided an opportunity to impose his will on a galactic scale? At its source? Today, we will analyze the critical junctures and cascading consequences of a hypothetical scenario. What if Revan, in his prime, seized control of the Death Star? Our point of divergence begins, not with a single battle, but with a strategic calculation. In this version of history, Revan returns from the unknown regions to a galaxy under the boot of Emperor Palpatine. This is not the Republic he fought to save. It is a perversion of it, ruled by a Sith Lord whose cruelty is as absolute as it is strategically bankrupt. It is in this landscape that Revan learns of the Empire's ultimate project, a battle station of unimaginable power. For Palpatine, the Death Star is an instrument of terror. For Revan, it represents an instrument of galactic policy, a tool to enforce a definitive, final peace. He believes the galaxy is too fractured, too weak, to save itself from the true threats he knows lurk in the void. His first action is not one of overt warfare, but of infiltration, refined by a mastery of the Force and battle precognition. He orchestrates a systematic seizure from within, turning key personnel and exploiting structural oversights. This is not a frontal assault. It is a silent coup. Before the Empire can mount a response, the Death Star's command nexus answers to a single will, Revan's. His first act is not to demonstrate its power, but to deliver a message. Broadcast on all channels, his voice is not one of a conquering Sith, but of a calm, measured arbiter. "I am Revan," he begins. "This station is now the instrument of galactic peace. The endless wars will now cease. Any act of large-scale aggression will be met with decisive judgment. The Death Star is not a promise of slaughter. It is a promise that the galaxy will stop feeding the war." The galactic reaction is immediate and chaotic. For the Rebel Alliance, the development is horrifying. They have traded one tyrant for another, one superweapon for the same weapon now wielded by a figure from legend whose morality is famously ambiguous. Emperor Palpatine is enraged, his ultimate power wrested from him by a ghost of the old Republic. The surviving Jedi are critically divided. Some see only a new Dark Lord, while others recall the Jedi who defied the Council to save the Republic, wondering if this terrible act is born of a twisted desire to protect the innocent. Here, Revan makes a pivotal decision in his strategy. He does not demand fealty, only an end to war. The first test of this new doctrine arrives when an Imperial Moff, hoping to regain favor with Palpatine, gathers a fleet to challenge Revan's authority. Revan offers a single warning: disperse. Your conflict is with me, not with the systems under my watch. The Moff's refusal triggers the demonstration. The Death Star's superlaser fires a concentrated beam, not at a populated world, but at the system's barren moon. The celestial body shatters, and the shockwave cripples the Imperial fleet. This single act of precise strategic destruction is the true inciting incident of Revan's reign. It sends a far more complex and chilling message than mere planetary annihilation. It is a display of absolute power wielded with tactical precision. This is not madness, this is control. Revan's gambit creates a new galactic paradigm, a forced peace built on a foundation of universal fear. This fear forges the most unlikely of alliances. Leaders of the rebellion, including Mon Mothma, meet with Imperial remnants who now see Revan as the greater threat. They understand they cannot win a direct confrontation, but they agree that a galaxy ruled by one man's arbitrary judgment cannot be allowed to stand. It is this act that serves as the catalyst for our climax. Meanwhile, a young Luke Skywalker, guided by the Force, senses this immense shift, an oppressive will that is a strange fusion of light and dark. He feels compelled to confront the man, not the weapon. The unified fleet's arrival is a paradox made manifest in the stars. Star destroyers and Mon Calamari cruisers fighting side by side. Revan anticipates their every move, like his strategic genius turning the battle into a systematic dismantling of the Allied force. As the battle reaches its apex, Luke penetrates the station's defenses and arrives in the throne room. He finds not an emperor but only Revan, observing the conflict with a visible wariness. The confrontation that follows is not a duel of lightsabers, but of ideologies. Luke, representing the Jedi's moral core, challenges the very foundation of Revan's forced peace, arguing that ruling through fear is tyranny. Revan, in turn, counters with the cold logic of a strategist who has seen the galaxy's cyclical self-destruction. "I have walked both paths," he states, his voice heavy with ancient sorrow. "Without the will to impose order, the galaxy will tear itself apart. I am here to stop the cycle." With the Allied fleet on the verge of collapse, Revan's commanders await the order. This is the moment of truth, with Luke serving as a final, moral plea to the Jedi that may still reside within the Conqueror. But, in the climax of this alternate reality, Revan chooses neither path. He does not crush the rebellion, nor does he make an example of a core world. He uses the super laser one final time at a fraction of its power to surgically strike the engines of the largest capital ships on both sides. The battle grinds to a halt. His final broadcast is a chilling testament to his philosophy. "You have seen the cost of defiance, and you have seen my restraint. The peace is now in your hands." With that, Revan and the Death Star vanish into the unknown regions. The consequences of this single action ripple across the galaxy. He leaves behind a stunned and fractured galaxy, but one that is quiet. The Galactic Civil War is rendered meaningless. The Empire is destabilized. The Alliance, though battered, has an opportunity to build. This act of accountability is what reshapes the future. Revan becomes a ghost, a dark savior watching from the abyss. He forced peace through fear, but ultimately left the galaxy to choose its own fate, forever haunted by the knowledge of what he could do should it fall back into its old ways. He becomes the galaxy's ultimate deterrent. By wielding the ultimate weapon with restraint, did Revan prove that the ends can justify the means, saving the galaxy from itself? Or was his reign, built on a foundation of absolute fear, a tyranny in its own right, regardless of his intentions? Was his final departure an act of wisdom, or an abandonment of his own imposed responsibility? Let me know your theories in the comments below.